Some cruise ships are designed to maximize indoor space. Others focus on luxury. Some are built for speed or entertainment. But the MSC Seaside Class? These ships were built around one simple idea: bringing passengers closer to the ocean. And that single decision made them some of the most unique and most controversial cruise ships sailing today. Some cruisers absolutely love the open-air design, saying it feels unlike anything else at sea. Others say the layout is confusing, the elevators are frustrating, and they actually prefer MSC's newer world-class ships. So, are the MSC Seaside Class ships hidden gems? Or are they simply different for the sake of being different? Let's find out. When people think of MSC cruises, they usually picture the enormous World America or the futuristic World Europa. But before those giants arrived, there was another class of ships that completely changed MSC's design philosophy. Instead of making passengers spend most of their vacation indoors, MSC wanted guests to feel connected to the sea almost everywhere they went. That vision became the Seaside Class. Today, the family includes MSC Seaside, MSC Seaview, MSC Seashore, MSC Seascape. While Seashore and Seascape are technically part of the enlarged Seaside Evo design, they share the same DNA that made the original Seaside Class famous. And after thousands of passenger reviews, one thing is very clear: people rarely describe these ships as ordinary. They either become someone's favorite MSC ships, or they're the ships that leave passengers scratching their heads. So what exactly makes them so different? Most cruise ships are designed from the inside outward: theaters, restaurants, lounges, shopping. Then the outdoor decks are added around them. The Seaside Class flipped that idea upside down. MSC actually designed these ships from the outside in. The goal? Create as much outdoor living space as possible. That means wider promenade decks, more oceanfront seating, glass elevators overlooking the sea, infinity bridges, outdoor restaurants, and even waterfront walkways that wrap almost completely around the ship. For many passengers, this immediately makes the ship feel less crowded. Instead of everyone gathering in one indoor promenade, people naturally spread throughout the outdoor spaces. Cruise enthusiasts often describe the Seaside Class as feeling much more connected to the destination rather than being sealed inside a floating hotel. And that's exactly what MSC was trying to achieve. Perhaps the most recognizable feature is Deck 8. MSC calls it the Waterfront Boardwalk. Unlike many modern cruise ships where lower decks are mostly enclosed, the Seaside Class features an outdoor promenade that circles much of the ship. Imagine walking beside the ocean while passing restaurants, bars, lounges, outdoor seating, and panoramic viewpoints, all without going up to the pool deck. Passengers frequently mention that this becomes one of their favorite places to relax, especially early in the morning or just before sunset. Unlike the busy Lido deck, it's usually quieter. You can hear the waves, feel the sea breeze, and actually enjoy the feeling of being on a cruise ship. Many experienced cruisers say this simple feature gives the Seaside Class a personality that many newer megaships don't quite have. Then there's one of the ship's biggest Instagram moments: the glass-floored Bridge of Sighs. High above the water, passengers can walk across a transparent glass bridge while looking straight down toward the ocean below. Now, if you're afraid of heights, this may not be your favorite attraction, but for everyone else, it's become one of the most photographed spots on board. MSC also added panoramic glass elevators facing the ocean. Instead of staring at a hallway while changing decks, you're treated to incredible sea views during the ride. These little touches reinforce the ship's overall theme. You're never supposed to forget you're surrounded by the ocean. One of the most common compliments from repeat MSC cruisers is how much outdoor seating these ships have. Whether you want to read a book, watch the sunset, have a drink, or simply escape the crowds, there always seems to be another quiet corner. This becomes especially noticeable on Caribbean itineraries. Unlike colder destinations where everyone gathers indoors, warm weather cruises allow passengers to fully enjoy the ship's design. That's one reason many cruise enthusiasts believe the Seaside Class feels most at home sailing in the Caribbean. And perhaps that's no coincidence, because these ships were originally designed specifically with warm weather cruising in mind. Of course, designing a ship differently also means introducing challenges. Some passengers absolutely love the layout. Others describe it as confusing. You'll often see first-time guests saying it took them several days just to learn how to get around. Unlike ships with one obvious central promenade, the Seaside Class spreads activities across multiple levels. Sometimes you'll find yourself taking an elevator, walking across the ship, then changing decks again, just to reach a restaurant or theater. It's not necessarily bad, it's simply different. And whether you enjoy that difference often depends on what kind of cruiser you are, but the layout is only the beginning, because once people actually spend a week on board, the opinions become even more divided. Some passengers say these are MSC's best designed ships ever. Others complain about elevators, crowded pool areas, and confusing deck plans. So what are cruisers actually saying after they've sailed? Let's take a look at the real passenger experiences. One of the biggest compliments you'll hear from Seaside Class fans has nothing to do with the food, or the entertainment, or even the cabins. It's the views. Because of the ship's architecture, you're constantly reminded that you're at sea. Whether you're riding a glass elevator, walking along the waterfront promenade, relaxing on one of the outdoor staircases, or simply grabbing a drink at an open-air bar, the ocean is almost always in sight. On many modern cruise ships, it's surprisingly easy to spend hours indoors without even noticing the sea outside. But aboard the Seaside Class, that's much harder to do. Many passengers say the ships feel less like floating resorts and more like actual ocean liners, where the sea is part of the experience rather than just the scenery outside your window. For travelers who cruise because they love being on the ocean, not just because they love the destinations, that distinction matters. The Seaside Class was specifically designed with sunny destinations in mind, and that's exactly where many cruisers think these ships shine. Whether sailing the Caribbean, the Bahamas, or the Mediterranean during summer, the abundance of outdoor spaces means you're rarely fighting for fresh air. Instead of squeezing onto one crowded pool deck, passengers naturally spread out across multiple outdoor areas. Many reviewers say this makes the ship feel calmer than its passenger count would suggest. Even when the ship is sailing at full capacity, there are still plenty of quiet places to enjoy the sea breeze. That's something repeat guests frequently mention as one of the biggest reasons they return to this class. That doesn't mean everything is perfect. One of the most debated aspects is the pool area. At first glance, the pools look beautiful. The infinity-style design, ocean views, terraced decks, everything feels very modern. But once the ship fills up, some passengers feel the pools themselves are smaller than expected. On sea days, finding a lounge chair near the main pool can become a challenge. Others point out that while there are multiple outdoor spaces, everyone still seems to gravitate toward the main pools during peak hours. Of course, this isn't unique to MSC. Nearly every major cruise line experiences crowded pool decks on sea days, but it's something worth knowing before you sail. If you're expecting a peaceful pool experience at noon on a sunny Caribbean sea day, you may want to adjust those expectations. Now let's talk about one of the most common complaints you'll find online: the elevators. Ask experienced Seaside Class cruisers what frustrates them the most, and elevators often make the list. Because of the ship's unique vertical design, elevators can become busy during peak times. Breakfast, dinner, showtime, embarkation day, returning from port. These are the moments when passengers report longer waits. Many veteran cruisers actually recommend using the stairs whenever possible. Fortunately, the ship's open staircases are attractive, well-lit, and easy to navigate. If you're comfortable walking a few flights, you'll often reach your destination faster than waiting for an elevator. It's one of those small tips that can make your cruise noticeably more enjoyable. When it comes to accommodations, most passengers agree that the cabins are comfortable, contemporary, and thoughtfully designed. Storage is generally considered good. Bathrooms are functional. Balconies provide excellent views, especially on Caribbean itineraries. However, many reviewers also point out that the cabins themselves don't dramatically differ from MSC's other newer ships. The real difference isn't where you sleep, it's what happens once you step outside your cabin. The architecture, the outdoor decks, the promenades, the panoramic views, those are what truly define the seaside experience. Like almost every MSC ship, dining reviews are incredibly mixed. Some guests rave about the fresh pizza, Italian pasta, mozzarella, gelato, and specialty restaurants. Others feel the buffet can become repetitive on longer sailings. If you've watched our previous video about MSC dining, you'll know this isn't unique to the Seaside Class. Passenger experiences often depend on expectations, the itinerary, the ship's occupancy, and even which venue they choose. One thing that many repeat MSC cruisers agree on though, don't judge the entire dining experience based solely on the buffet. Some of the ship's best meals can be found in the main dining room or specialty restaurants. If you're looking for non-stop energy, the Seaside Class delivers. The atriums are filled with music. The lounges host live performances throughout the day. The promenade comes alive at night. The pool decks feature games, DJs, and themed parties. There's almost always something happening. For many guests, this creates a vibrant Mediterranean atmosphere that feels different from some North American cruise lines. Others, however, prefer quieter ships and may find the environment a bit more energetic than they're used to. Neither approach is right or wrong. It simply comes down to your travel style. So, who are these ships really exactly for. If you love spending time outdoors, enjoy ocean views, like walking around the ship, and appreciate unique architecture, the Seaside Class could easily become your favorite MSC ships. But if your priority is having one easy-to-navigate indoor promenade, large central gathering spaces, or minimizing the amount of walking, you might prefer MSC's newer world-class ships instead. That's really the story of the Seaside Class. They're not trying to be like every other cruise ship, they're intentionally different. And because of that, passengers tend to remember them long after the cruise ends. So after years of passenger reviews, thousands of cruises, and countless comparisons with MSC's newer ships, has the Seaside Class stood the test of time? And more importantly, should you book one for your next vacation? Let's wrap everything up with the final verdict. Since the debut of MSC Seaside in 2017, MSC Cruises has continued to evolve its fleet with larger and more technologically advanced ships. The world-class ships introduced expansive indoor promenades, more dining venues, and cutting-edge attractions. So does that make the Seaside Class outdated? Not at all. In fact, many seasoned MSC cruisers still consider the Seaside Class one of the cruise line's most distinctive designs. Why? Because while newer ships offer more features, the Seaside Class offers something that's becoming increasingly rare: a genuine connection to the ocean. On many megaships today, it's easy to forget you're even at sea. You can spend hours indoors surrounded by restaurants, shops, and entertainment without ever seeing the water. The Seaside Class constantly reminds you why you booked a cruise in the first place. Whether it's walking along the waterfront promenade, watching the waves from a panoramic elevator, or enjoying a quiet drink with uninterrupted ocean views, the sea is always part of the experience. And for many travelers, that's exactly what cruising should feel like. Who should book a Seaside Class ship? If you're trying to decide whether one of these ships is right for you, here's a simple way to think about it. The Seaside Class is an excellent choice if you love spending time outdoors, enjoy scenic ocean views throughout the day, prefer walking around the ship instead of staying in one central area, cruise primarily to warm weather destinations like the Caribbean or the Mediterranean, appreciate modern architecture that's a little different from the typical cruise ship layout. You'll likely get the most out of what makes these ships special. On the other hand, you may want to consider another MSC class if you prefer straightforward, easy-to-navigate layouts, have limited mobility, and rely heavily on elevators, plan to spend most of your cruise indoors, want the largest selection of restaurants, entertainment venues, and attractions that MSC currently offers. None of these are deal breakers. They simply reflect the fact that every ship is designed with a different type of traveler in mind, and that's why reading reviews can sometimes be confusing. One passenger's best cruise ever can easily become another passenger's not my favorite. The key is choosing the ship that matches your vacation style. So, are the MSC Seaside Class ships the most unique cruise ships in the fleet? We'd say absolutely. Not because they're the biggest, not because they're the most luxurious, and not because they have the most attractions. They're unique because they dared to challenge the traditional cruise ship blueprint. Instead of asking, how can we fit more things inside? MSC asked, how can we bring people closer to the ocean? That decision shaped everything from the ship's architecture to its outdoor promenades, panoramic elevators, waterfront dining, and breathtaking sea views. Of course, no ship is perfect. The layout takes some getting used to. The elevators can test your patience during busy times. And if you're expecting the convenience of a giant indoor promenade like you'll find on World America or World Europa, you may initially feel a little lost. But for many cruisers, those trade-offs are well worth it, because by the end of the voyage, what they remember isn't waiting for an elevator. It's watching the sunrise from an empty promenade, hearing the waves while walking around the ship, or finding a quiet spot outdoors that felt like it was made just for them. Those are the moments that keep people coming back to the Seaside Class. Before you book, here's one final piece of advice. Even the perfect cruise ship can become a disappointing vacation if you choose the wrong cabin. A beautiful balcony won't feel so relaxing if it's directly beneath a noisy pool deck. A cabin near the theater might seem convenient until late-night shows keep you awake, and some locations experience far more foot traffic than others. Choosing the right cabin can make just as much difference as choosing the right ship. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more honest MSC cruises, guides, tips, and comparisons. And before you book your next cruise, make sure you watch our next video, Inside MSC Ships, Best versus Worst Cabin Locations Exposed. We'll reveal which cabin locations offer the best value, which ones to avoid, and the common booking mistakes that first-time MSC cruisers often make. Trust us, watching that video could save your vacation before you even step on board. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Happy cruising!